Yeah, we do get that here and again about, and it feels good for people to, go to a soup kitchen or, give money, this and that. And we have zeitgeist people that do that kind of thing in addition to advocating this direction, and, it's all good.
which is good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I'm referring mainly to the criticisms that come up.
Oh, yeah, we should
They
be
say,
doing
"Oh, well, you're a
this.
social." I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah, they say we should be doing this, and we should be doing that, and we should be, helping people be fed, and we have to bring them back to the points you just talked about all the time.
Yes. Yes, and I have other more temporal ideas that I won't go into right now, but larger order of institutional projects, which I think can assist in the transition, because it is important to consider the survival at the time. And I am somewhat in support of these other lo-fi type technological things where people are building self-sustaining structures. You hear about these things, Earthships or transition towns, and
Yeah.
I believe there is a place for all of this, but I want to continually remind people again that this isn't what the movement itself is working towards in its basic premise. So we're not trying to create a lo-fi, return to, some, agrarian type of thing. I mean, there are many people out there that have a kind of a doomsday perspective, and they think we're going to end up, which I don't necessarily deny, but I don't think it's an inevitability that we'd end up, say, with no, with a large lack of energy or really limited food supplies or no more industrialization. It doesn't have to be that way, and I guess that's one of the issues that I just like to clarify, because it's not a solution. It's not a solution to build, say, a sustainable community and just move off to some island. The breakdown of society will not leave any stone unturned. Jacques also knows this very well. So we really have to think globally and holistically, as difficult as it is. You have to think in explicitly as a whole when you want to consider the zeitgeist movement and why we advocate the ambitious tenets that we do. So I just want to reiterate that.
Yeah, a lot of people say that we're headed for hyperinflation. We're going to have, Zimbabwe money before the next few years. What do you think about that? That's within possibility, it seems.
Oh, well, absolutely. I mean, the only thing that keeps the dollar going is that it's still the petrol dollar. And there's many different lucrative aspects to that. I know the bourse is changing from various countries. The dollar, the amount of money that's being produced, I think the only reason hyperinflation hasn't occurred yet is because it's simultaneously money is being destroyed through various forms of collapse. So you have money being destroyed through debt collapse and bankruptcies, and you have constant reproduced money to fuel whatever debt they can possibly pay for. So it's this weird collision that's happening, which is why I don't think we've had hyperinflation yet. But that's just a hypothesis. That's a complex issue. But no, that wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Hyperinflation is a trademark of the patterns that the United States are doing and many other countries are doing. The reason it materializes so fast in countries like Zimbabwe, as it did, or after the Treaty of Versailles in Germany, or the numerous other examples, is because they were very detached. They didn't have the global legging that the United States does. I mean, the U.S. currency is essentially the global currency, if you will, at this stage still. Even though that's really the only thing that keeps the currency what it is, to be perfectly frank. I think hyperinflation. I'm less concerned about hyperinflation more than I am about this systemic and consistent economic country collapse and country defaults that we're beginning to see, and that there are so many more prospects of countries that are on the edge of collapse. You barely even hear about because the news really doesn't want to talk about it. And the United States bankruptcy, I hate to say it, is right around the corner. You will see a headline that says the United States is officially bankrupt because they can no longer pay the interest, and now they're going to increase IRS rates, which is why the IRS was essentially created to begin with, to fuel the interest for the debt system that was created when the Federal Reserve was put in place. But I won't belabor that. It's all going to come down to taxation. So the taxation that the citizens of the United States are going to see is only going to increase. It's only going to get more and more difficult for the American citizens. It's only going to create more and more class division. And the middle class are going to suffer. The lower class is going to grow. Upper class will probably remain static. And debt collapse, the IMF will have to move in, which is comical because the World Bank IMF structure is the United States. People don't really understand that, but that's what it is. It's this. So they made the central banks are there as the lender of last resort, right? But the central banks have the same systemic problem as all the commercial banks do, because they can go bankrupt. They can create too much money. They can create cycles of debt, and they can the chain of 12 central banks in America can suffer the exact same problems because of a systemic result, out of their power, by the way, because this is a chain reaction. It's not all just control from the top down. There's plenty of monetary control, but this is a chain reaction that even these guys can't control. So what happened is they had to go for the World Bank and IMF, and for many different reasons, one of which was to make a global lender of last resort. So the ultimate bailout. And this is this omnipotent illusion institution that the very concept that they can generate almost any type of currency for the sake of any country for whatever their needs might be is just so comedic to me that I'm amazed that more people don't laugh when they hear about this, because it's just a huge grand illusion that these institutions. I wouldn't be surprised if they made another one,
Yeah.
in case the IMF and the World Bank start to get problematic. They invent some other one, some kind of global financial thing. They'll make something up for it. Anyway, I don't want to belabor any of that, but the central problem to me is the systemic and continual, unstoppable government collapses that will continue. Unless they just stop it, unless they just push everything under the carpet, which they're doing to a certain extent. That's the only thing they can do, is just to say, okay, you owe us $700 billion. They write it off the ledger because they know they can't do anything else. And frankly, if there was any consideration of the public in the American administration, that's precisely what it would have been done with the U.S. civil debts, the public debts held by the people and the families. They wouldn't have bailed out the banks. They would have bailed out the people. And that would have actually stimulated the economy, believe it or not. That would actually have given money into people's pockets that they could spend into the system. They didn't do it because the power establishment knows who's in charge. And that has always been the banking system and the corporate system. So I hate to sound conspiratorial, but we do live in a corporate fascist state, whether you want to believe it or not.
So you're not a fan of trickle-down economics?
That's just funny, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think all you have to do is take a look at the world around you and see that trickle-down economics never ever works. Same with mechanization. Look at the same trickle-down effect of what they refer to as you create new technology, and you are able to replace human labor, and the defense of that is that, it lowers the purchase price of the item. And the illusion is that, the corporations are going to be honest enough to lower the purchase price enough to compensate for the people that they've just displaced, which is nonsense, because obviously the only reason they got the machine to begin with was to save money and to keep the price where they wanted it, for the most part, maintaining a competitive edge. So that trickle-down notion is also equally it's equally a farce. So anyway, lots of fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, PJ, I have 1 minute of tape left, it looks like, so I won't keep you any longer. You've given everybody a lot to think about and reflect on, and we really appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate what you guys are doing too, Joel. I really appreciate it. I hope the Venus Project's doing well. I'm hearing from them occasionally, but I know you're probably more in touch with them than I am. I've been so busy, but
Yeah.
Keep everybody posted, Joel. You're the kind of the hub there.
Doing what I can. All right, Peter. Be in touch.
All right, take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.